In today's video, I'm going to be providing you my current opinion on the state of affairs regarding Kaspa. I'm going to talk short-term and I'm going to talk long-term. I'll also be addressing the current price action, the boring price action for Kaspa, which we have experienced for so long. And I'm going to be talking about whether this is starting to get concerning and what you should potentially look at doing with your Kaspa bag. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be completely raw and honest. I'm going to basically address all the potential FUD arguments for Kaspa, and I'm going to give you the rundown on my personal opinion, what I'm doing, and basically why I'm not too concerned regarding Kaspa. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure to leave a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want to store your Kaspa safely, get yourselves a Tangent. It's linked in the description. You can use the code Archie at checkout to store your Kaspa safely. Okay, so this could be a long video. I don't know. I'm just going to speak. I'm going to address a few things and basically just provide my insight. You can disagree with me. You can think whatever you want, right? It's an open debate. Everyone's allowed their own opinions, and I want to hear your opinions in the comments. So let's just start and talk about my kind of context, my background regarding Kaspa. So I got into Kaspa at 3 cents. That was my kind of major purchase for Kaspa. I would say I bought maybe 80% of my Kaspa between 3 and 4 cents in terms of price. I topped up a lot on it along the way, but the vast majority of my bag I purchased around 3 to 4 cents on Kaspa. So obviously I'm sat at some very nice profits right now. And I did discuss Kaspa a lot before that. I discussed it in November 2022 on a YouTube video. I said I liked it. However, I didn't get a bag at the time. So full transparency, full clarification there. I got in at 3 cents. Some people say that I got in earlier. I didn't. I know a few of you guys did follow the video I made back in 2022 and you bought. Congratulations. But I unfortunately didn't buy then. So if you look at the chart right now for Kaspa, this is the yearly chart you can see on the screen. We're getting to a point where soon Kaspa is going to be at the same price that it was at 365 days ago, 1 year ago. Okay, once we get to kind of this point here, once we get to December, if Kaspa's at the same prices come end of November, beginning of December, that would have been a year without, being in profits if you look back a year, right? Now, obviously it did come up to 20 cents, but it's come back down. And it's been very, very boring if you're a Kaspa investor. The price action hasn't really moved. And, you're seeing other coins like Sui and Tau absolutely skyrocket whilst Kaspa's been going down. So personally, I would describe myself as a Kaspa enthusiast. I would describe myself as a Kaspa realist. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a complete maxi. Okay, because my portfolio currently is maybe somewhere around 30 to 40% in Kaspa. I have other coins as well. And I want to just say this clear as day. Whilst Kaspa's been going down from 20 cents to 13 cents, I made a 3x or so on Tau and Sui in that same period. 2 to 3x in that same period on other blue chips. So I don't have this idea in my mind where you can only hold one coin. I personally believe in a diversified portfolio and, having different percentages in different sectors and different cryptos. Now, with that said, Kaspa for the best part of this year has been my biggest holding. It still is my biggest holding, and I probably intend on it being my biggest holding for the rest of this cycle. So obviously I'm very bullish on Kaspa. That goes without saying. You can go back and look at loads of my old videos. I've discussed this crypto a lot. But I do think there's some reasonable things that are getting discussed. And, with this very sideways price action, I think some people should potentially revise their predictions in terms of price for this bull run. There's still YouTubers saying Kaspa minimum $20, $40, and just for me, quite absurd price predictions. Now, you cannot argue that Kaspa's going to go that high when we've had such long consolidation. If Kaspa was at $1 right now, then maybe I would get it. But I personally am revising my price predictions for Kaspa. Throughout the majority of this year, I've been saying $2 to $4 is my Kaspa prediction. However, I've got to be brutally honest with you. I thought at this point right now, Kaspa would be probably around 30 cents. Just being real with you, right? That is where I thought Kaspa would be. And I was obviously wrong. It's much lower than that. I thought this kind of pump that we saw here was going to basically break us out into a major uptrend. And by now, maybe we would have topped out maybe 30 cents, 35 cents, something like that. That's what I was expecting. And that's what the majority of Kaspa investors were also expecting. But it just hasn't played out that way. We've come down, and I'm going to get into the potential reasons for that because I think it's important to address that. But we have come down. So you can't maintain the same price prediction, okay? If you thought Kaspa would be all the way up at 30 cents right now, you can't maintain the same price prediction as you did back then, okay, when Kaspa was destined to go to 30 cents by this point. So I personally am publicly revising my Kaspa price prediction. No longer am I saying Kaspa is going to go to $2 to $4 in my opinion. I'm going to lower that by half because I personally think we are half of where we should be currently. We're at 13 cents. I think we should be around 30 cents. And, you know, if you look at the power law, that also kind of suggests the same thing. The power law is saying we should be around 30 cents. And that's what everyone expected. Everyone expected Kaspa would be at 30 cents by now. It hasn't gone that way. So we can't maintain the exact same price predictions when the price hasn't gone the way we expected. So I'm revising my price prediction. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. You don't have to keep the same price prediction all along. Crypto changes, and therefore you should also change your price predictions. So I'm personally looking for a $1 to $2 Kaspa this cycle, topping out maybe somewhere around mid-2025 or late 2025 if we go in accordance with the 4-year cycle. So, you know, $1 to $2, is that just a completely random number? No, it's not. If we look at the power law, okay, and we actually input some data. So let's just say we want to see Kaspa in September 2025, or let's do October, okay, because we're in October now. So I've just put the date in here for the 10th of October 2025, which is exactly a year away from now. The Kaspa Power Law calculator is indicating Kaspa should be somewhere between 80 cents to $1.60 with a fair price value of 1.13. Now that's the power law. Okay, we can have an argument about the validity of the power law, but what I'm saying is my price prediction for $1 to $2 is substantiated by a power law, okay? And it's not just that. You can compare it to other projects from last cycle. $1 to $2 is a fair region to look at. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be angry at that. They're expecting $10, $20, $50 per Kaspa coin. But maybe I'm just conservative. That is how I am in terms of crypto. I like to give conservative price predictions. I don't give crazy price predictions. I'd rather be happily surprised if Kaspa exceeds my price prediction than be disappointed if it goes much lower, right? So that's also a mindset thing. But if we look at the power law, which I just mentioned, the power law is suggesting something quite significant. If we zoom in, we can see that Kaspa currently is sat on that bottom kind of purple line. Now, if we check the key, the purple line says Kaspa is dead. So, you know, you see in the title of this video, you might think it's clickbait, but according to the power law, which a lot of people are basically seeing as gospel, I don't see it as gospel, but some people are seeing the power law as basically this absolute thing, which is just objective and it's going to happen. The power law is suggesting Kaspa being dead according to the key that was set. So I don't buy that personally. I don't think Kaspa's dead. The sentiment right now is pretty bearish. I'm just going to be honest with you. And people are moving funds away. They're putting funds into things like Sui, into Tau. Personally, I think if you were going to do that, you should have done that months ago. The window for that now is probably closed. The most strategic move on the chessboard would probably be buying Kaspa now, rather than selling your Kas for some other things which are up 3x, right? Now, we did get into Sui and Tau very early in the VIP Discord, but we got into those months ago. We're not moving Kaspa into them now. We made that move months ago. We were buying those months ago. now isn't the time. I think we're actually probably very close to the local bottom. And if you're looking at expanding your Kaspa bag, this is a great opportunity in my eyes. Now, I'm personally happy with my Kaspa bag. I'm probably not going to buy any more. I like the percentage that it is in my portfolio, around 30 to 40%, something like that. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to change it. I reached my personal goal for Kaspa tokens. And I know there's going to be some people watching who have 80%, 90% in Kaspa. You are free to do whatever you want to do in your portfolio. But I'm not doing that because I already know that there's other coins which are going to pump other than just Kaspa. And I've experienced it in the last few weeks. Kaspa's been coming down. My other blue chips, they've been skyrocketing. I picked Sui and Tau as my other blue chips. They were the two biggest gainers in the entire market recently. And they've been holding up my portfolio. So you can't really criticize me for that because it's proven to be a smart and prudent decision. It's proven to pay off. Anyway, power law wise, it's saying Kaspa's dead. If you look at it here, it came below the power law, so I don't put too much emphasis on that personally. I do think we're going to have a recovery. Just obviously, maybe Kaspa's not going to go as high as we initially thought. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let's get into some of the potential FUD arguments that people are proclaiming. And, I don't think these two are going to massively impact the Kaspa price. They've already maybe had their major effect already. So going forward, I'm not too concerned about these two. However, there's a couple things I want to discuss. So the first point, okay, and this is something which I'm kind of directly linked to, is the kind of political posts, the polarizing posts, and the unprofessional posts and insulting posts by one of the main contributors to Kaspa, Shai Desh. He's a spokesman for Kaspa in a way. He travels the world doing AMAs, doing conferences. So he is kind of the spokesperson for Kaspa in terms of how the public view it. Okay? And I made a post a few weeks ago now, and you can see it's garnered a lot of attention. 46,000 views. That's the most viewed tweet I've ever made, I think. And I basically just spoke my mind. I thought that the Kaspa devs or contributors, whatever you want to call them, constantly posting politicized tweets and quite polarizing one-sided opinions is going to be to the detriment of the Kaspa price, okay? It's counterproductive to the Kaspa price. Doesn't benefit Kaspa. I didn't say that it is going to destroy Kaspa. I didn't say it's going to make a major impact to Kaspa. I actually think the level that it's going to impact Kaspa is quite minor. I don't think it's going to have a major effect. However, I know that it will have an effect, and it has had an effect, because many people have told me, because of what the guy behind Kaspa is tweeting, they don't want to have any interest in the project. They don't want to hold it. They don't want to follow it. They don't care. So it already technically has had an effect to some degree. Now, yes, it's probably a minor degree, but there's already been some people say, I don't want to hold my Kaspa. The spokesman, he blocked me on X just for sharing my opinions. He was quite rude to me or whatever, okay? So there's already been some people come to me and say, I don't want to hold it. I've also had KRC20 projects. One of the biggest KRC20 projects, like a top 3 one or top 5 one. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to, share private information. But I've had KRC20 project leaders come and message me and say, thanks for what you said. I totally agree with you. It doesn't benefit Kaspa. I've had other major influencers come and say they agree with me. It doesn't benefit Kaspa. I wish they would stop posting this on their main accounts. Maybe they could do it on a separate account. Whatever, fine. Now, obviously, they have the right to say whatever the hell they want on X. I'm not taking their right away to say that. They can say whatever they want. But also, I have the right to point it out and say that it's probably not beneficial to Kaspa, which, describes itself as a very decentralized and neutral form of money. It probably doesn't benefit Kaspa in the long run or in the short run if you have very politically polarizing tweets from some of the main people contributing to it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking a side. I'm not saying anything about my personal opinions on the matter. All I'm saying is I don't think it benefits Kaspa. Okay? So I made that point, and subsequently, okay, another post which has almost 30,000 views on this one. Subsequently, Shai Desh, one of the, again, main contributors to Kaspa, the guy who goes around speaking about it, educating people about it in a good manner when he's talking about Kaspa, I think he's very good, okay? He basically said this, and I'm not going to read it out because it is pretty vulgar and, disgusting language. I'm not going to read it out because maybe you have children listening or whatever, I don't know. So you can read it on the screen for yourself, but this is his response to me after I kind of said my opinion and he gave me a response. I never gave him any slurs. I never said anything rude at all. I was pretty professional. And, I was just saying, again, I don't think it benefits Kaspa. Okay. And then eventually he came with this and then subsequently blocked me. So I don't like to give too much light on this situation. I want to move past it. But this has certainly had some form of a negative impact on Kaspa. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's been a major impact. It's probably been quite minor, but a lot of people have definitely made some sort of decision based on this situation. Okay. I've had so many DMs, people telling me they've sold. If you check YouTube comments on some of the major YouTubers for Kaspa, people are saying they've sold because of this. It has definitely had an impact. We can have a debate about the extent of the impact. Maybe it accounts for 5% of the move that we've had down, maybe 2%, maybe 10%, who knows? But it's definitely had some form of an impact, and that's why I've raised it. Now, let's be very level-headed about this, because I shouldn't allow this to affect me and affect my investment in Kaspa, and I'm not going to allow it to affect me. Now, in terms of an emotional response. Now, what I will say, this does not look good. If centralized exchanges are looking at Kaspa, they're obviously going to do a background check on this guy. These types of tweets, they don't benefit Kaspa, okay? One thing I'm going to note, I'm pretty sure Pepe had some issues getting on tier 1 exchanges just because it had a MAGA hat in the image. So if Pepe had issues with that, there's also a potential possibility that Kaspa could have issues because of some of the main people behind it and how they kind of are in the public realm. I'm not saying it will have an impact, but it could. So personally, I don't think this is going to have a major impact in the long run. Obviously, I don't think it's beneficial for contributors to act in this manner. There's no gain to this. Everyone just looks at it in negative light. No one sees this as good. At least the people I've spoken to. But I think Kaspa will definitely get past it. Most people probably don't even know who this guy is, and they just buy the Kaspa token because some influencer talked about it. Some people just don't even dig deep into the teams and the people behind cryptos anyway. So it shouldn't have a major impact for this cycle. But as Kaspa gets bigger and it starts to grow and becomes maybe a top 5 coin, top 10 coin, the people behind it are definitely in the public limelight. Think about Vitalik Buterin. He does some dance, he does some stupid thing. Everyone bashes him. Think about Charles Hoskinson last cycle. He got a lot of hate for some of the things he said. That obviously has an impact on the coin. Also, what I'll say, it doesn't paint the Kaspa community in a good light. Community, when it comes to a crypto, is very important. People look at XRP, they look at Hex, and various other cryptos as essentially being toxic cults a lot of the time. And people just don't buy the token because of the negative connotations associated with the community. So it needs to be said that the community needs to be in a positive direction for Kaspa to succeed. Okay, this type of rhetoric cultivates a very toxic community around Kaspa, which in the long run is not going to benefit it. Okay, now another thing people are saying could have potentially impacted Kaspa is the KRC20 launch. Okay, you had some third-party issues with that. That wasn't Kaspa's fault, but there were issues with third parties. Also, some people are saying that it wasn't as successful as they thought it would be. People expecting Kaspa coins to literally, go to billions in market cap and Coinbase listing straight away. So maybe people did set high expectations on the launch of KRC20. obviously some people sold their Kaspa to buy KRC20 memes as well. So maybe that brought the price down a little bit. I don't know, but these are some of the speculations that people are making. I don't really give too much weight onto that argument. Kaspa eventually will have smart contracts, which I think will be a lot better than KRC20. Also, another thing people are saying is the tier 1 conundrum. Still no tier 1 listing for Kaspa. Still don't even have really tier 2s. If you count Mexi and KuCoin as a tier 2, then fine, but there's still no tier 2 exchanges really. If you're thinking about maybe Kraken, Gemini, these types of exchanges, there's still none of these either. I mean, I think maybe there's one US regulated exchange or maybe two. I don't really know, but no one really knows them. Okay. There's no crypto.com, no Binance, no Coinbase, no Kraken, no Gemini. Kraken will be coming. Okay. But it is starting to drag on a bit. People have said it takes 1 year to audit a coin. How long has Kaspa been around now? It's been around since 2022. So they've had a while to get tier 1s and they're still not here. However, I'm going to show you my opinion on this matter. I think Kaspa will still be fine, okay? I think this is FUD. It's reasonable FUD to a degree, but I think it's mostly just FUD. In reality, Kaspa is already on the roadmap for Kraken. So it's going to get listed on Kraken sooner rather than later. And then once it's on Kraken, you'll probably see other ones listed. You'll probably see crypto.com, and then maybe Binance a little bit later on, and then maybe Coinbase. And Kaspa has already been mentioned by Coinbase. Okay, people at Coinbase have already talked about it in positive light. And regarding Binance, Kaspa Futures is already on Binance. So now all they need to do is get Kaspa. I think maybe one of the main reasons is they just don't have the liquidity. They're building up their liquidity. So it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of when rather than if, okay? It will happen. It's just a matter of time, essentially. And I think we do have time to maybe get a couple big listings before the end of the bull run. Will we have a Coinbase? Maybe not. Binance is certainly a possibility. And I feel like, the Krakens, the Geminis, the crypto.coms, they will probably start to flow in either towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year, I expect. So honestly, I'm just going to give you my verdict now. I think Kaspa's fine. If you got in early like me, you're going to be in a really great situation. And I didn't even get in really early. I know some people bought, at 50 million market cap. So people got in a lot earlier than I did. But in the long run, I think it's going to be fine. Yes, there's some slight causes for concern, but they're really quite minuscule in the grand scheme of things. Kaspa is such a good project. It, in my opinion, solves the trilemma. Okay, it's scalable and decentralized money. And a lot of people are getting sidetracked with KRC20 and some of these other things. But what we really need to focus on is Kaspa is money. Kaspa's money. It's the best form of money I've personally seen, okay? I love Bitcoin more than anyone, in a way, okay? Obviously, there's probably people who love it more than me, but I want to be a Bitcoin maxi. After this bull run, I'll probably be 80% in Bitcoin in terms of my portfolio. And I think Bitcoin is the best form of preserving your wealth, okay? Bitcoin is like digital property, digital energy, everything. But Bitcoin isn't really the best form of money for buying things. You're going to wait a long time and the fees are quite high. Kaspa is decentralized, but also has those scalable aspects to it and cheap aspects to it. So it really is something unique in the sense that if you're going to go and buy a coffee, Kaspa would be the perfect crypto to do that. Not Bitcoin, not ETH. And then obviously Sol is very centralized. So it's not going to be Solana either. So it works perfectly as a currency. And people are getting sidetracked with these other things. KRC20, that's great and all. But please focus on the main purpose of Kaspa, which is to be decentralized money. And we are starting to kind of get away from that focus. Kaspa is the Satoshi Nakamoto vision of money, which is scalable. Bitcoin kind of changed from being, seen as money to now being seen as a storage of wealth. A little bit different in terms of its use case. So Kaspa and Bitcoin can complement each other perfectly together. And as long as they get tier 1 listings, they keep building, and ideally the devs and the kind of contributors don't get too obnoxious and kind of rude on the social media pages, I think Kaspa is going to do just fine. And like I said, my personal target, somewhere between $1 to $2. Maybe it goes higher. I hope it does. I hope it goes to $50. But I'm just giving you my personal targets here. I've revised them based on the fact Kaspa's been going sideways for so long. I expected it would be higher right now. Therefore, I've changed my targets. Let me know your Kaspa targets down below. Let me know your thoughts on my assessment. Was it fair? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'm happy for some open debate. And as always, I'm going to keep talking about Kaspa, but I'm going to have a sensible amount of my portfolio in it, and I'm going to give sensible price targets. Okay? Some people don't do that. Appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe if you are new. Also, check out the VIP group. We have an entire channel in here dedicated to Kaspa. We've got Kaspa miners in here, and we have people looking for Kaspa meme coins 24/7. We have all sorts of other channels as well. We have voice chats on almost every day. So you can come and talk to myself about the market, get your coins reviewed, everything like that. And you can track all my buys and sell alerts. So whenever I'm buying something new, whenever I'm buying something I already have, and when I'm selling something, you're going to get notified in real time. It's a great thing to have in helping you navigate this bull run. Many people are going to be in this bull run as a lone wolf, and I don't think that's going to be to your benefit. If you're in a community full of like-minded investors, all with the same goal in mind, I think your chances of success are going to be drastically higher. So come check it out if you're interested. Once the market starts skyrocketing, I will be increasing the price just to kind of lower the demand a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much been this video. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.